Hey guys, so this will be my video for Monday. Monday. And as you can see, I shaved my beard off. And I am really sad every single time I have to do that. It really is just kind of depressing. Every time, I hate it. I hate it so much. But you can kind of figure what I was doing this weekend. I was doing my military stuff again. Anything I say does not reflect on the DOD, the Department of the Navy, or the Department of the Marine Corps. But I had to get a clean shave and get ready for the morning. So this will be my final video where I'm finally all caught up. Yay! Thank God. So, I was thinking about what I should talk about this time. And while I got a long drive ahead of me, I figured I should talk a little bit and mention who I actually listen to on a day-to-day basis. Now, I have mentioned this many times before, but I'll watch political videos. But I got a lot of sources that I use. I usually don't listen to direct news sources. I usually listen to people who collect a bunch of news sources and then do their own analysis and reporting on it. It really depends on what exactly is going on. Because I'll listen to like a local news station, like Fox 5 Atlanta or something like that. But like Nick Shirley, he's a pretty good one, I would say. I like what he's doing. He went out and did his own thing, and I always appreciate that kind of stuff. I appreciate somebody who goes out, tries to start his own business, try to start his own investigation work. It's really useful, and I love guys like that. And he did a lot of good work. He went out, found somebody who has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for the last 5 years. And the dude was named David, and I think he said that he started to notice issues like 7 years ago, and he's been a business owner since 9 years ago. So I mentioned David before, and it might have been like that I didn't get like all the amount of years he's been doing this correct, but that's why, because he mentioned like his entire timeline. So yeah, Nick Shirley, revealing he didn't do all the research himself, but he found somebody who had, and had all the numbers and talked to all the people, and they just went out and they tried to confront these people, and everyone showed their ass to Nick. So, and like I said, they found that one daycare center that was called the Learning Center, because they forgot the letter N in learning. And 2 announcements were made a few days later. One from a local government official who said that, well, the Learning Center, or the Learning Center there, had actually shut down a week prior and they had gone out of business. And then some random dude came out saying that he was the owner of the place. And same exact day, he says, no, they're still open. They're still inviting kids. Like, and then they show like 3 kids go inside the building. Like, see, we're operating. We're doing business. Like, the sign was just a mistake, you see. Like, where's Nick now? Why is Nick not here when we're actually doing business? Like, and it turns out that that dude was actually partying with Democrats, and like you see a picture of him like dancing with like Tim Walz at some party, but not with Tim Walz. Like Tim Walz was in the picture, and it's just like, okay, so this guy is crazy. So I'd say Nick's a good guy to listen to. I have mentioned Ace 1918 a lot. A lot of his stuff isn't political stuff. A lot of it is just like reviewing video games, showing what video games are like on the what's it called? The Steam like handheld thing. But he's pretty good. And then I watch like Archcast. Let's see here. I watch American Uncovered. I got a list of stuff here. I'm trying to watch it. Watch where I'm driving. There's no one around me right now. So I watch Decoy Voice. He's pretty cool. And then, let's see here. Paul Joseph Watson, he's a pretty good one. He does a lot of UK stuff. I like him. I got some Nerdrotic I occasionally watch. I got some WDW Pro, some Yellow Flash too. He's pretty good. Those guys are very good for those last two guys, WD Pro and Yellow Flash, are very good for stuff relating to movies, video games, TV shows, stuff like that. Let's see here. Then you got the Conservative Twins. Those guys are really cool. Those guys, I don't know if they both served in the Marine Corps, but at least one of them did. And they're identical twins, and you really can't, it's kind of hard to tell them apart, honestly. I never really did figure out which one is which. I kind of wish they had like separate segments where they're like, did their own thing, but I think they always sit on the same side of each other, so it is what it is. Occasionally I watch some Clownfish TV as well. They do media stuff. Again, movies, video games, Disney. Those guys are libertarian, or at least Neon is. Neon's a libertarian. And Kiki, she was kind of a liberal, but now she's kind of like, she's a centralist. And she's just completely sick of liberals at this point. And again, I mentioned that liberal is kind of a misnomer, because a liberal is somebody who supposedly believes in freedoms and independence. And liberals will cancel you for having an independent thought. So, yeah. Liberals has become an oxymoron recently. Let's see here. Kirsha. I like her as well. I don't agree with a lot of what she says, but at the same time, yeah, she's adorable. I love her takes on stuff. She's absolutely a delight to listen to. Then, someone I really like is Liberal Hive Mind. Liberal Hive Mind, I don't watch him as much anymore because he is very passionate about this stuff, and it gets me all worked up too. I get mad. I get real mad when he's getting mad. So I gotta kind of keep myself centered because I don't want to get too angry and drive up my blood pressure and just get like all heated all the time. It's not good for you. But Liberal Hive Mind, he is very, very good at what he does. I love him. I love him a lot. Then I got Omegon occasionally watch. If you don't know who Omegon is, I don't know if he's named after the Primarch from Warhammer 40k. He mostly looks at influencers, and he like talks about them doing stupid stuff, doing illegal crap, like social drama and that kind of stuff. So I don't really watch them all that much because, again, while I do talk about like social drama and YouTuber drama and stuff like that, it's usually more about proving a point or trying to clear somebody's name. But like his stuff is like talking about like a YouTuber who what are they called? Those YouTubers that eat a bunch of food and get really fat, and then he's like talking about how unhealthy their lifestyles are, like that kind of thing. I forget what those are called. Was it like Nikita too, something like that? Anyways, like those fat influencers, those guys that like always talk about like how absolutely wonderful it is to be fat and how you're healthy at any weight kind of stuff. Not always that kind of stuff, but a lot of what he does is that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see who else. Sorry for my hand getting in the way. Salty Cracker, I like him as well. I don't watch his live streams anymore. I used to watch a lot of his live streams. It's not really my cup of tea. Again, I don't like live streams in general because I always like to be part of the conversation. So I'll end up like donating money, and I'm trying to be smarter about how I spend my money. So getting my like 5 seconds of commentary in the middle of a video is not, it's not worth it, honestly. I have did donations where I like brought up a subject, and then like in Yellow Flash's live stream, for example, and then he and his friends talked about it for like 20 minutes. That was cool. But then I'm not part of the conversation. I started a conversation that I can't even like make my own points on. So it's like, nah, screw it. Unless I'm on the live stream itself, there's no reason for it. I like side scrollers as well. That's another media group. Again, I absolutely adore frickin' Stuttering Craig. He was a guy I grew up with. Not literally, I grew up watching him on Screw Attack do his top 10 list for video games. And God, it was so fun, man. It's so nostalgic to see him talking nowadays, and it's so refreshing to see one of my childhood heroes actually talk sense, talk about politics in a logical manner, and not be some crazed lunatic like Mark Hamill. It's so nice, man. I'm so happy to see him doing good work out there. Let's see who else. I do like Alternate History Hub as well, but that's more like, again, he talks about history, he talks about alternate scenarios, trying to figure out like, hey, if things happen this way, like how would history had shaken out? Dude, he had some pretty good political takes occasionally, but that's not his main point. That's not what he does. But if you follow him on Twitter, he occasionally says something really funny that I agree with. So, he's good for entertainment. I'm just kind of not watching him anymore because a lot of the stuff he comes out now are videos on Patreon or videos on YouTube, which are behind a paywall. And I don't want a members only video. I'm not going to start paying more people. I'm trying to cut back on how many like YouTubers and Patreon supports I got going on. I need to save money. I'm sick of paying people money, and I want to be able to save it up. So unfortunately, I haven't just been watching a lot of Alternate History Hub anymore because a lot of the stuff is behind the paywall. I'm just like, God damn. Partially, it's also because probably everybody's coming out with using ad blocker. That was like a main issue with Change the Channel, by the way. The Channel Awesome controversy is like some of the complaints were they don't want me to put too many mid-roll ads in the middle of my videos because like people are using ad blocker and causing the company like thousands of dollars worth of like revenue loss. It's like, I just wanted to put in like 4 ads in the middle of my video. Like, why is that so wrong? God knows. A lot of those complaints were so freaking petty against Channel Awesome. God, it's like, yes, everyone hated when you guys put in 4 ads in the middle of your video. Stop doing that. It's not unreasonable for the company to tell you to stop doing that. God. Okay, who else? There's a lot of entertainment guys I watch too. I do like Asmongold, not Asmongold, Asmongold. But he's also like a fan of Arch Warhammer, and he does his own videos on Asmongold, ASMOGAN. But he does a lot of like, most of what he does is like minifigure reviews, or he like looks at people, how they painted their minifigures and just like critiques it. He doesn't do a lot of political stuff, and he hasn't done like a lot of videos in a while. But during like the election in 2024, he was coming out with more videos. he was going to join the army and it ended up falling out. And I'm just like, damn, I could have had a fellow like, well, I'm not a soldier, but he would have been a soldier, and it would have been like, hey, I would have had a fellow nerd here in the military coming in and kind of understanding where I'm coming from. But oh well, I do need to get in contact with him at some point. See if he wants to come hang out for a while. Not literally, but like in live streams or something. Who else? Again, I'm skipping the pure entertainment stuff that I watch. I do watch some DD Cobra, but again, I don't watch the live streams, so I only occasionally watch videos where actual videos he comes out with, and he might do that like a few times a month. He might do that like once a month. It really just depends on what's going on. Gamers Unbeaten is pretty good. If you don't know Gamers Unbeaten, it's part of that series of channels like China Uncensored. Then they got like another channel about China, which is like their live stream channel or their interview channel, where they bring on like people and then they just interview somebody who knows something about China. Trying to remember what the name of that channel is. And then they got America Uncovered. I actually was going to give them a script for a Gamers Unbeaten episode that I was thinking about making, and I never got around to doing it. It was going to basically, you got to watch the videos to understand, but it was basically going to be about Bolt Gun and how like the armor of contempt relates to like how you need to treat illegal immigration. Is that you just got to like deny like appeals to emotion. I thought it would have been a clever episode because he played Bolt Gun, because he'll have live streams on Gamers Unbeaten where he just does a let's play, and then he makes a video on the game and then relates it to some philosophical concept to hide, like, so he can skate around a political issue that might like otherwise get him a strike on YouTube because he can't talk about it openly. It's a really silly concept, but it's nothing like racist or anything like that. It's basically like, I want to talk about how this group of individuals comes here to America and causes a bunch of issues, but I'm not going to talk about it directly. I'm just going to infer it from this video game. And then a lot of it's fascist. That is a word that I cannot say. But it's like tongue-in-cheek, where he in like one video, he tries to convince the audience that socialism is good. And it's all just supposed to be ironic, and him basically being like, his point is, no, socialism is not good. He tries to make it the pitch for socialism as insane as humanly possible, to the point you can't take it seriously. Okay, let's see what else. I do like Incognito Mode, Internet Historian, and what's his other one? Can't think of it off the top of my head. But whenever that Internet Historian comes out with a video on one of his 3 channels, they're usually pretty interesting. Like I mentioned the Ever Given, I think, in yesterday's video. That is a really good episode. I watched the episode like 3 times in like 2 weeks because it was so funny to me. Man, you gotta watch Internet Historian. Again, he doesn't come out with videos as much as he used to. He also explains, there's one video he did on Balloon Boy, which was really good, where he's basically like talking about that kid who supposedly went into the weather balloon and got flown away, and then the father was later accused of lying and he had to admit that he was guilty in court. But the reason why he had to do that is because the local Democratic mayor and the local sheriff basically threatened to have his Japanese wife deported if he didn't admit it. So they straight up just threatened his family. And everyone who knew the couple basically said that no, they wouldn't scam the government like that. They didn't do this for 5 minutes of fame. Really good episode. It really made me feel for the Balloon Boy family. Who else? The Ragerholic. Yeah, Razorfist. I talked about him before. Love him. Absolutely love him. Problem is if you disagree with him, best to keep it to yourself. Because as much as I love him, he's a very passionate individual, and he's been on the internet way too long, and yeah, he'll get in arguments sometimes, and he needs to take a chill pill once in a while. But I understand him completely. He's a very good guy. He does a lot of volunteer work. He has helped build houses for people in Mexico, I think. Absolutely wonderful dude. It's just that he has been dealing with BS for so long that it's best to just let him do what he does. And I hate to say that. Again, I love the guy. It's just, I don't want to, my first contact with him, if I ever make contact with him, I don't want to poison the well before I do so. Very good guy. Very, very good guy. Just, gotta be a little bit on eggshells if you have a point of contention with them. And to be fair, the same thing is kind of true with me. There are friends of mine that I'll get, kind of mad at because they're making, points that don't make any sense. And I'm just like, come on, dude, really? How the hell can you possibly believe that? And I have to stop myself because I don't want to ruin my friendship because I have a political disagreement. I do the same exact crap. So when I talk about Razorfist, I know that, I'm making fun of myself at the same time. Who else? Robot Head. He does TV show reviews, movie reviews, basically just making fun of woke crap. Again, just media stuff. Pretty good. Here's an interesting one though. Shady Do-Rags. He's not really a conservative dude. I would say that he's kind of just a moderate dude, and his politics doesn't often come up when he's doing a TV show review. But he reviews cartoon episodes. And it's really good, honestly. And I feel like we agree on some stuff. He's not going to be a super interested guy in Trump or whatever. He's not super into politics, but he'll be he will critique how parents are treating their kids and how they have to enforce discipline and stuff like that. He has a good understanding on what families should be like. And I appreciate that. I really do. Oh, Story Mode is Internet Historian's other channel. Yeah, Story Mode. The last one they did was... Oh God, what was it? It made me cringe. It was that one with the lady who had super empathy, where she could read people's emotions. And God, that episode was outright painful to watch. Whatever. The Hated one. I like the Hated one, but he's a little bit too interested in hiding your identity. He wants to make it so that he's completely untrackable by the government. He's fighting against Big Brother at all times, and I appreciate that. I appreciate him trying to reveal fraud in and companies, talk about like Microsoft and their shady business practices and that kind of stuff. Just, he's a level of independence, hiding your internet profile. If I were to do everything that he had done, my face would never have shown up in any video I ever made, ever. It would just be a black screen, and my phone would be on airplane mode, like 24/7. Just not my kind of... I wouldn't put as much effort into hiding myself as I could, as the hated one does. Still, interesting guy to listen to. I think he's way better than Ordinary Gamers. Yeah, I don't like watching Ordinary Gamers. I think the guy's kind of a creep, honestly. But Ordinary Gamers talked about one time how mismanaged Channel Awesome was. Now, I want you to all keep in mind that, yes, Channel Awesome was mismanaged. There were issues with Channel Awesome's, like, how they handled finances. But my whole thing with talking about Channel Awesome is more of, like, how they took, like, the producers tried to destroy Doug's life rather than dealing with actual, like, certifiable management issues. Like, they tried to destroy the CEO for very petty reasons, and not because they couldn't afford stuff. Again, Channel Awesome, not the best run business in the world. They really shouldn't have had all these producers that they didn't know and they didn't control, like, working with them. But I mean, Doug just trusted people a little bit too much, I guess. So yeah. But some Ordinary Gamers, I just... He's just annoying to me. Okay, what else? According to Vin, V-I-N, will occasionally make videos just like I do. Except, like I do, he occasionally disappears for months and months at a time. And, he's not a reliable source of information. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about me, but I'm trying to be better to make daily videos, so. But when Vin was actually making videos, he was pretty cool to listen to. And he might start up again, you never know. Maybe he just didn't think he was going to grow fast, and like he just kind of gave up on YouTube. I don't know what happened. Someone else I really like, this is the list of people that I occasionally watch, but I don't watch too much of for one reason or another. And this guy is Actual Justice Warrior. I don't watch him a lot either, because Actual Justice Warrior gets really angry and he gets me worked up as well. His information is very good, but since he's so passionate, it gets me like worked up in that frenzy. And again, I want to keep my blood pressure down. Andy, ever since he had his brain injury from being punched in the face by an ANIFA member, he has not done as much field work as he used to, which is sad. I mean, I feel real bad for the guy, but yeah, I feel real bad for him. He's kind of slunk away from doing like his own independent research and putting it on his channel. So then there's Angry Guy. Nothing I can say about that. Anthony Brian Logan. Very interesting guy to listen to. More of a moderate than me, but he has a lot of good videos. I like him. I got a few here about like firearms. Doesn't really matter. Bearing. I watch Bearing sometimes. That's Bear, B-E-A-R-I-N-G, Bearing. His stuff is more about like influencers and idiots on the internet doing idiotic things. But he does make some political videos now and again. Then Ben Dallas. This is a very small time YouTuber. Very small time. Kind of as small as I am, honestly. He mostly like has been in a war with his local school, his local school board, and he's basically been trying to get elected over at the school board, and he's been slandered a lot by the school board. Really cool guy. Just his type of videos is not my kind of thing. Very low effort, kind of memey, kind of like acting out a role kind of thing. But at the same time, he is very serious, and he has been pointing out a lot of issues with his local government and his local elected officials, again at the school board. And yeah, cool guy if you're interested in small time local politics and just getting a slice of life kind of for the average American kind of thing. Then Black Conservative Perspective. Now, there was a guy called Black Conservative Patriot who was also on YouTube, and he got banned like 3 years ago. And another guy who got banned was Nuclear Grifter. Both two very good guys. You can see Nuki G, Nuclear Grifter. He's got a second channel. He'll occasionally come out with videos, and then his videos will be deleted within like a few days. So unfortunately, Nuclear Grifter and Black Conservative Patriot never got their channels back. They got silenced by YouTube, but then we got Black Conservative Perspective, who kind of like Liberal Hive Mind and Actual Justice Warrior. Both make me mad. He gets very passionate, and the reason why he gets me mad, Black Conservative Perspective, is because he will show videos of the most insane, the most angry, the most just absolutely horrible like news commentators in the country saying completely defamatory, horrible things about good people. And it's just so painful for me to watch those videos and have to listen to that slander. It's just awful. But Black Conservative Perspective actually follows me on Twitter, and I follow him. He's one of the few guys like Yellow Flash who follow me back, and the reason why Yellow Flash follows me is because I pay him enough money for him to follow me. So I mean that's a different story altogether. But yeah, I am a good patron of Yellow Flash. I talked about Armed Scholar. I talked about Brendan Herrera, which don't really watch much gun tubers anymore. Then I got Carl Vernon, pretty good. Yeah, Chinese Uncensored and Chinese Unscripted. Those are the two. Again, those guys are related. Same channel, same group of people as Gamers Unbeaten and American Uncovered. Then you got, if you want your Canadian stuff, watch Clyde Do Something. Don't agree with a lot of his stuff because he's kind of a liberal, but he is also a liberal completely sick of the liberal government. So it is what it is. God, this guy with LED lights behind me is blinding the hell out of me. I hate LED lights. Those LED like headlights are awful. Colin Noir, that's another 2A guy. Then you got Count Dankula and Count Dankula 2. I don't watch him very often, but pretty good. David Naino Rodriguez, he's pretty good. Depressed Ginger, he's alright. Dr. Steve Turley. He's got a good... He's pretty good sometimes. He's anti-globalist. He's a religious dude. I don't agree with everything he has to say because he thinks that frickin' Putin is actually a religious man. I don't agree with that. Let's see here. Fatal Investing. I know they changed their name, but if you look up Fatal Investing, they talk about stocks and talk about how stocks work. Again, they changed up their name. Another 2A guy is Grand Thumb. Pretty good. Glenn Beck, if you want an older gentleman's perspective on politics, he's alright. I don't understand why Styx Hexenhammer has such a problem with him. Glenn Beck is pretty decent when he does stuff. And then Good Logic, Lawgit. He's pretty good, but he hasn't been posting a lot of videos. And then Gothic's Therapy. If you don't know who Gothic Therapy is, it's run by Master of the TDS and his wife, and they do kind of they do kind of a gimmicky, kind of like meme kind of thing where they talk about influencers again and politicians and like diagnose them with like mental health issues, because Master of the TDS is a psychologist. No. History Debunked. Old British gentleman who wrote a lot of books and talks about British politics. And he's, I'll say he's milquetoast, but he's just very good at pointing out the obvious. Just a very down-to-earth guy to listen to. Yeah, let me fix this. I'm out of frame again. There we go. Kind of stuffed up right now. Jesse Lee Peterson. Don't watch him too often, but he's got some good episodes. John Talks 2, which is kind of like memeology 101. Is he does the Clown Planet stuff. John Talks 2. Oh, Clown Planet, I think, is another one of his channels. But John Talks 2, he just posts a video on some leftist idiot saying some leftist idiot things and then puts it to music and makes a meme out of it. Pretty good stuff sometimes. Judicial Watch. Good for talking about issues, court issues, and trying to uncover fraud. And election fraud specifically, for the most part. Among other things, cover-ups. For example, like the guy who died at Obama's house. Night Talk, as in K-N-I-G-H-T, occasionally talks politics, but again, mostly talking about idiots who post videos online. Lack of Entertainment, and then Romanian TV, and another dude with LED lights behind me. In fact, there's like 3 of them. God damn it. But Lack of Entertainment / Romanian TV, very good guys. Very good guy, I mean. He does both channels. Here's another dude who's completely sick of Dev and will mock Dev anytime Dev says anything stupid, which is basically every 30 minutes. So, but he does talk about other stuff. Lack of Entertainment obviously is about like movies, video games, TV shows, and Romanian TV is mostly about politics. Legally Armed America, another 2A guy. Legal Mindset, another guy who talks about like court cases and idiots who are defaming people online. Then LotusEaters.com and Podcast of the Lotus Eaters. Good. That's the guys that Sargon of Akkad is associated with. By the way, Sargon of Akkad as well. Makes good videos, Good if you want to know about British stuff and British opinions in American politics. Then LV Nation, which LV stands for Lou Valentino. He does live streams and then he snips out portions of his live streams and puts it online, and he's a super Trump guy. He loves Trump, and freaking conservative black dude who talks about politics. Michael Knowles is like the only person I actually tolerate from Ben Shapiro's like organization. I have issues with everyone on that in that whole news site, but Michael Knowles is like the least offensive and the guy I enjoy actually listening to. I already mentioned Nerdrotic. He also has Nerdrotic Daily. Then I love Nux Anar, also known as Nux Taku, but Nux Anar is his main channel. That's NUXANOR. Jewish VTuber who talks about politics, and he absolutely despises anyone like talking shit about the Jewish people or Israel. So basically he goes after like Hassan Piker all the time, or people who like to blame Israel or Jews for every single issue in the world, and he talks about how absolutely insane it is. Very good guy, love him, I love him. O'Keefe Media Group. After James O'Keefe left Project Veritas, he formed his own group with blackjacks and hookers, and continues to do good work while Project Veritas falls apart at the seams without him. Then Penguin Zero, I don't really watch his stuff very often. It's not my cup of tea, just like Asmongold stuff is. But I occasionally watch Penguin Zero and Asmongold. In fact, I thought they were the same person for a while, despite the fact that they look completely different. They were just so on the periphery of like the stuff I consume that I just didn't recognize that they weren't the same dude for a while. You can call me an idiot for that, but that's just how it is. Quartercast and the Quartering. The Quartering recently changed his name back to, what is it, Ben Dykes? The Quartering is just waking up. He wasn't in the politics before. He is starting to get into politics. He's becoming more religious, more conservative. It's interesting to watch him develop as a YouTuber. He has put less advertisements in his videos. Thank God I stopped watching him because he was advertising so much in his videos and I kept having to skip through. But he's calmed down on that, thank God. It's like watching Clownfish TV. Not that Clownfish does advertisements in their videos, but what I mean is Clownfish TV wasn't a conservative channel, still isn't a conservative channel, but is becoming more aligned with the conservative movement, kind of because the left has forced their hands into doing so. Red Eagle Politics, he's the guy to watch around election season, as he will point out poll numbers, very good. Ruined Leon, kind of like Night Talks. Ruined Leon talks about idiots on the internet being idiots. Not really conservative, but somebody just to listen to. Then Smug Elena, SMUGALANA. Kind of like Kirsha. I don't agree with everything she says, but she's like the average normie talking about politics, and it's actually kind of refreshing sometimes to hear a point of view because it's without bias, and it's all about her point of view and how she doesn't like what's going on in the world. Again, I don't agree with everything she has to say. I don't think she goes far enough in some cases, but and that she's kind of ignorant on some topics, but she's pretty good to listen to if you want to listen to somebody who kind of got forced into politics due to the stupidity of the people around her. Then Stephen Gardner, 1. And he's interesting to listen to sometimes. Then you got Styx Hexenhammer, 666. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't watch him. I used to watch him religiously. I don't watch him much anymore. Not ever since he cheated on his wife and, publicly showed him groping his girlfriend live on stream. I thought that was kind of disgusting. And I don't agree with some crap that he does and says, but he's good if you want some basic information on what's going on in the world. Romanian TV, I mentioned him before, thinks that Styx Hexenhammer has kind of fallen out, that he's gotten lazy with his commentary, which I kind of agree with. His videos are too short for good information. But interesting anyways. The Front Porch Conservative mostly does live streams nowadays. I don't know if he's still doing stuff, but he was good when I watched him. The Officer Tatum, he had Nick Shirley on, and black dude was in the military, I think. No, he was a cop. He was a cop, and very conservative guy, very cool. Kind of want to go to one of his talks someday, one of his college talks. And he has been hiring protection for Nick Shirley after the Somali community came after him. Very good guy. The Treehouse News. Interesting woman, to say the least. She has had issues with Anthony Brian Logan and especially Candace Owens. Candace Owens, I'm kind of just sick of at this point. But the Treehouse News is how I actually learned about Liberia, and how Liberia was the experiment of Abraham Lincoln, and how after white people left that country to allow the newly formed Liberians to run it, the freed men, the freed slaves, and the freedmen, the men who were never slaves, immediately started a slave trade in Liberia. She's got good information sometimes. I just, I get sick of how much she laughs all the time in her videos. And it's kind of petty of me, but, I mean, again, she does a lot of good information. If you can get her over my petty BS, good person to watch. Oh, no. I said earlier that Ben Dykes was the Quartering. That's wrong. The Quartering is Jeremy. Yeah. Ben Dykes is Veteran Biker. Veteran Biker obviously is a United States Army veteran who is a biker. Ben Dykes. His stuff is really good as well. He's basically a guy who's completely sick of inaction from the right. He's conservative, and he's basically talks politics and says that we have to actually do something, and he points out when the right and Republicans are not doing enough. Very good source of information, and very down-to-earth guy who is just trying to get Republicans to do what they promised that they would do. Then Valuetainment. Valuetainment is very good if you want business advice. And he has brought Nick Shirley on again. Nick Shirley, awesome dude. Go watch him. Valuetainment has brought Nick Shirley on, and they will interview people, and then in the live stream, and then they'll break that live stream up into like 5 parts and post all the videos on like a single day. They do a lot of work. They are a workhorse. If you want to go watch a certain part of an interview, they name their videos very specific things so you know exactly what they're talking about. And then if you want business advice, you can watch their shorts. I stopped watching them because I attempted to watch every single one of their videos like an idiot, and I eventually got overloaded trying to keep up with their information. It was just too much for me. That's because I had like 20 other people I would listen to on a regular basis. I cut back. I'm gonna have to rearrange this list, take a lot of the entertainment stuff out, and put a lot of the political stuff back in. And that's it. That's all she wrote. A lot of right-leaning or centralist and right-wing people I listen to. Some are left-wing entertainment guys or left-leaning entertainment guys that happen to have views that I agree with. All of them good, all of them great. Go out and look a lot of these guys up. See if you got good information. Watch my videos. Hey, watch my videos. Don't leave me out of the loop. Because I'll take their information, I'll condense it, and I'll expand my knowledge with their information and make a amalgamation of knowledge here in my channel with the Tower Commander, watching from my tower. But yeah, those are the people I watch. I have a list here of people that I don't watch anymore for various reasons, but I won't get into that because I might have to reevaluate that. But a lot of the people in my permanent off my list is either people who got banned or people who have extreme Trump derangement syndrome. So I'll leave it there, guys. That's everybody I watch. I don't watch them all the time. Occasionally I'll come in and watch a few of their stuff, some of their stuff, but yeah, I'm leaving it there. Bye.